Hey everybody, in today's video, I'm going to give a 30-day gold and silver market update. We're nearing the end of the month of July 2024, and boy, are we ever in some crazy times. A lot of stuff going on in the world right now. As I film this, it's July 22nd, and we have seen huge swings in both gold and silver markets over the last 30 days. I'm going to touch on those markets and why I think it's happening, where I see it going from here. And I'm also going to talk about what customers are saying that come in the shop, and ones that I speak to on the phone and through emails and text message as well. There's a lot going on in the world, folks, and it is having impact on the metals markets. So I'm going to let you know what other people think, what other people are buying, and what other people are selling as well. Sellers have increased. There are some days in the last couple of weeks where we've bought much more than we sold. Be sure to stick around. Hey everyone, what a time to be alive. Boy, there's a lot going on, both in the political sector, the economic sector, not just here in the home front, but globally. I'm not going to get into big specifics in politics because that's not what this channel's about, but we are going to touch on a few things and how I feel that they are impacting precious metals today, and how I feel that global and national events could impact precious metals in the future. First, we're going to talk about the 30-day gold and silver charts. We'll start with gold. Gold, once again, hit an all-time high just a matter of a couple days ago, in fact, where it touched $2,468 per ounce. So that is an all-time high, folks. And what it's done to the gold and silver ratio, it's actually increased it. It's stretched it out, because as gold hit this all-time high, silver's went backwards a little bit. As I film this today, the gold to silver ratio sits at about 82-1. So I get people that ask me all the time, well, Josh, what would you do? Would you be trading gold for silver or silver for gold? No, I actually wouldn't do either right now personally, but instead I would be stacking silver, buying up silver. I wouldn't be buying gold today at an all-time high, because I still think silver is an undervalued asset in relation to gold. So, for what it's worth, I'm still stockpiling silver. I'm not saying gold's bad, but for me, I'm buying silver. And most of my customers are as well. We do sell a fair amount of gold. In fact, we had a few large gold orders this month. We probably sold well over 100 ounces of gold this month, but more and more people are buying silver. So, I don't know. I think they maybe agree with me. Silver is kind of the poor man's gold, as we would say, so it's affordable to the masses. And that's just where most people are putting their cash right now, is in silver. So, but to recap with gold, 2468 touched an all-time high, or made an all-time high just a few days ago. And in the last 30 days, it had a low of $2,298. So from high to low over the last 30 days, that's a $170 swing. That's quite a bit for some people to stomach. But there again, you know, if you invest in 1 ounce of gold and spend that $2,500 and you see a $170 loss, that can easily happen with silver too. You buy $2,500 worth of silver, it goes down a couple bucks an ounce. You're going to see a similar loss. So it's not something to get too worked up or too excited about. As I said earlier, what a time to be alive. We're living in unprecedented times. Boy, you just turn on the TV or you go on social media and you can read all about what's going on in the world. And like I said, not just at home either, although there have been some huge events at home as well, in particular on July 13th and yesterday, as I film this, July 21st. So what does that mean going forward for metals? Boy, I don't know. As I've commented on other videos, politics and what's going on in the political arena does have, in my opinion, direct impact on precious metals and how they're traded, how they're bought and sold, as well as the prices. Granted, there's many other forces at play, but I do think politics does have an impact on how the public reacts towards precious metals. And it's not just events here in the United States politically that has an impact on precious metals, but truly it's globally, because gold and silver are traded globally. They're global metals. People all over the world buy, sell, trade, steal gold and silver. So, I mean, it is truly impacted on a global scale from politics and from the economy. So boy, our economy, arguably in the United States, stronger than a lot of countries, but you can argue it's not that great. I know the CPI, or also known as the CPI index that our government puts out, talking about inflation, shows that inflation is slowing down and the economy is strong and all these new jobs are being created. Boy, I don't know if I buy that, but here I'm isolated out in North Dakota. So if you have an opinion on that and you think the economy is booming and is much better off than it was, drop it down in the comments. Granted, I think things are improving, but we got a long way to go. Let's touch on silver. I touched on gold a bit and how the price of gold measured in US dollars has went up over the last 30 days and hit an all-time high. It trades in other countries' currencies at much higher numbers. So gold has had much higher all-time highs based on currency exchanges in other countries' currencies. So arguably a couple days ago when it hit $2,468, maybe technically wasn't an all-time high, but it was an all-time high in US dollars. So I just wanted to be clear on that. And just to put it bluntly and simply, maybe you're new to the channel, maybe you don't understand how the markets work, but this is a half ounce of gold. In hindsight, I should have had a full ounce for show and tell purposes, but let's just say this is an ounce of gold. Oh, even though it's not, it's a half ounce. But to buy this 1 ounce gold coin, if gold was at $2,468, you could probably expect to pay close to a $100 premium above gold price. You're paying $2,568. So does that mean that this gold coin was worth, gold's $150 less as I film this today? Does that mean this was worth $150 more last week when gold was at an all-time high? Well, technically, yes, but this piece of gold arguably doesn't go up and down in value. Your dollars that are used to purchase this gold go up and down in purchasing power. So you can really argue that gold has the same value. It's just priced differently in terms of dollars or whatever currency you're going to use as those dollars or the other currencies go up and down in value. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an easy way to look at it because, like I said, you could have bought this for $2,500 and let's just say $2,550 last week. Today, it would be $2,420. So that's $130 less. So does that mean this gold is worth less? No, it just means that your dollars are worth more and it took less of them today to purchase one of these than it did a week ago. So it's another way to look at metal. I know that's not for everybody, but take it for what it's worth. Kind of went off on a tangent there. Okay, getting back to silver. I'll put up 30-day silver chart. So silver hit $31.39 per ounce. So that was a 30-day high, and it hit a low of $28.72 per ounce. This silver chart is wild. Look at the ups and downs. There's sharp charges up, there's sharp drops down. As I've commented before in earlier videos this past month or two, it's going to be very volatile during this election cycle. We're only about less than 3.5 months now away from an election, and we don't even know who the two main party candidates are. We know who one is, but as I film this today, we don't know who the Democratic candidate's going to be. That's unprecedented. I mean, if there was a death or something like that, yeah, it's probably happened before, but wow, to pull out of the race at this late of a stage is quite interesting. So how that's all going to pan out, that remains to be seen, but that's only going to continue to play into the volatility of precious metals, of gold and silver both. For those of you who are frequent watchers of my channel, you probably know that I do flash sales. Well, I try to do a weekly, and I haven't missed a week yet since the first week of January. We do a flash sale every week where we discount a particular, sometimes multiple, gold and silver items for the public. It's things that I maybe have too much of, or I was able to purchase at a good price, and I want to pass along the savings to my customers. So I do that. Well, last week for our flash sale, when I filmed the video for the flash sale, we had secondary or impaired silver between 10-ounce bars, 5-ounce bars, 1-ounce bars, 1-ounce rounds for 25 cents over spot. That was the sale. we sold a lot. It was a great sale, and for those of you who took advantage of it, I'm thrilled for you because you got silver at a great price. But from the time I filmed that video to the time the sale actually started, silver went down like $1.25. So, I mean, I was obviously still honored the sale, and you know, in my business, it's all about replacement cost, and I could replace the silver I sold at that lower price, you know, based on that lower spot price. So I'm not sweating it, believe me. But it's a little difficult to plan sales in advance in relation to spot price because of the huge volatility. And if you look at this chart, you'll see what I mean. There's just sharp ups and downs. What's going to happen moving forward? I would tell you to expect more of the same. There's going to be sharp jumps. You know, you might see $1, maybe even $2 jumps in a single day. And on the flip side, you're going to see downward trends of that magnitude as well. We're just in such uncertain times. And like I said, not just because of the political scene at home here in the United States, but globally and economically. And there's always news about banks, other banks closing, branches closing, consolidation of banks, which essentially, you know, a bigger bank will take on the debt of a smaller bank and basically dissolve the smaller bank. They don't even talk about those as closures, but they are. Let me just share a tidbit with you. And like I said, I don't do videos with scripts typically unless it's a specific educational video, so I'm just speaking here. But I had a customer come in today. He's actually my neighbor, lives 2 doors down, great guy. And if you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. And I think he watches my channel. In fact, I know he does. But long story short, he'd been out of town for a couple of weeks, and I had some items set aside for him. He came in to pay and pick them up, and he actually did some more shopping as well and didn't bring enough cash. He said, well, I'm going to run to the bank. I'll be right back. No problem. Well, then he texts me, and I didn't see the text until after he got back, but he said, I went to the ATM at Wells Fargo, National Bank Wells Fargo, and it had no money in it. The ATM was empty. So I went inside, and there were about 30 people in line waiting to get cash. So he ended up going to a different branch and got served a little quicker. But the Wells Fargo in Minot, North Dakota, for whatever reason, on Monday, July 22nd, ran out of cash. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it has nothing to do with the huge changes that I feel are coming in the financial world. Maybe it's just coincidence. I don't know. But I found it odd and found it strange. And believe me, I'm sure those 30 people waiting in line to get their money out of that bank were pretty frustrated too, that they couldn't go to the ATM and pull out cash. So is that happening in your part of the world? Drop it down in the comments, because I've heard from others in other parts of the world that it is getting increasingly difficult to get your cash out of the bank when you need it. If you've ever had issues with that, drop it down in the comments and let me know. Me personally, I haven't had that issue yet, but I've heard that from many customers that it's a struggle, and they run you through the ringer. if you want to pull out, you know, $8,000, what's it for? Well, that's none of your business. No, I have to type it in this form, sir. It's like, put down whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't lost faith in banks entirely. In fact, T the Silver Stacker, if you don't watch his channel, he puts out great content as well. Shout out to T the Silver Stacker. He interviewed Sherry, a coin shop owner in the Chicago metro area. She was just recently dropped by the second bank, I think this year, if I'm not mistaken, because she's a coin shop basically and handles in large amounts of cash. Her bank closed her account. So what is going on? I don't know. So we won't get too much more off topic there, but boy, banks are not at the top of people's lists of things they trust. That is for certain. But I'm just going to put the silver chart back up here again real quick and just show you that it bottomed out in the last 30 days at $28.72. And as I said, the peak was $31.39. So that's a $2.67 swing. You know, the silver to gold argument, that's a little easier for people to stomach and to compartmentalize, I guess. If you own, let's say, 100 ounces of silver versus having an ounce of gold. Although if you owned 100 ounces of silver, you'd have been down $267, where the high to low of the last 30 days on gold was only $170. So, like I said, expect volatility in the precious metals markets, at least now until Election Day, and probably thereafter. Who here thinks we're going to have a clear winner come Election Day? based on our our country's let's just say sketchy past when it comes to election tabulation, we probably won't even have a clear winner for the presidency on election day. So that's just going to add fuel to the fire for the volatility of precious metals. So what does that mean? Josh, should I keep buying? Well, that's entirely up to you. I'll never tell you to buy or not to buy. But me personally, I'm still stacking. I'm still making sure I have an aggressive inventory in the company because I believe silver in particular is going to have its day in the sun. Granted, this past 30 days, we saw a downward trend. We're lower today than we were 30 days ago, but I don't know. I haven't lost faith. I still think better times are ahead for silver especially, and gold will have its day too. I do believe that, but I'm only stacking silver right now. So I have my reasons. I'm sure you have yours. Let me know down in the comments too. What are you stacking? Let's just say somebody hands you $500 cash and tells you you have to either buy silver or gold. Not some of each, not new tires for your car, not groceries. You have to buy gold or silver. What are you going to buy today? It's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to buy silver 100% of the time. And I can honestly say that would have been my answer over the last several years because I pay attention to those ratios. And as I said right now, at an 82-to-1 ratio, that means 82 ounces of silver based on spot price equals 1 ounce of gold. Based on that, I believe it's a huge silver buying opportunity. So that's what I'm putting my investable cash into, is silver right now. There's other assets too. Boy, Bitcoin's doing well. There's some other cryptos. Have you ever heard of Popcat? That one's went up a bunch lately. Dang it, I wish I would have bought some earlier. But there again, in terms of precious metals, I'm buying silver. And probably the best bang for my buck. And I didn't even put any on this trade, but I've been buying a lot of 90% silver lately because it's a good value based on historical premiums and where they've been at. So lastly, we'll talk about what customers are selling. Everything on this tray here, with the exception of these two soldiers and this 5-ounce bar, everything on this tray came from customers that came into the shop and sold me stuff. So, 10-ounce Canadian maple leaf. I love these, and I have a few personally, or I probably would have wanted to buy this out of the company and take it home, but I don't need to have too many of them. Underneath you can see there's Philharmonics laid out. I featured this 1/2-ounce gold earlier. Got a bunch of different 10th-ounce gold coins that came in. There's just a smattering of gold. This 1-gram soccer ball, and I think I've featured all these in video before. But as I said, most people are buying silver, so I've had these 10th-ounce gold for a couple of weeks now, and that soccer ball probably for a month. But most people who are coming in to buy gold, they're either buying 1 10th-ounce American Gold Eagles, or they're buying 1-ounce pieces, whether in bars or coin. So Krugerrands, Buffaloes, Eagles, Maple Leafs, we've sold them all recently, as well as 1-ounce bars. But yeah, all of this came in across the counter, and I really like these too. These are 2-ounce. Beautiful detail. You've maybe seen these or you haven't seen these. Sorry, it's really humid in here. These fog up. But yeah, nice 2-ounce silver pieces. I have 5 or 6 different ones in the shop today. So, I did want to feature one other thing that I bought across the counter. And if you've seen this before, tell me. I'd be surprised if you have, though, because this came into the shop as part of a $55,000 estate that showed up last Thursday. It was announced, but I had no idea what the total was going to be, and quite frankly, the seller didn't either. I had a repeat seller contact me, and he's from out of town. He had about an hour drive in. He said, Josh, I'm going to stop by Thursday with some stuff I want to liquidate, but just so you know, there's quite a bit, so it might take a couple hours. So I responded back, no problem, we'll see you Thursday. He shows up with 2 big boxes of stuff, and it took probably about 3.5 hours to go through, but this is one of the things he dropped off. You maybe can't tell with the camera, but this is a pyramid, okay? Zoom out a little bit more here. So this is a pyramid, gold in color. The pyramid itself isn't gold. Zoom back in so you don't see all my junk on my desk. So what this is, and I had to look this up, and dang it, I had a hard time finding some comps. but this is made by the Popejoy Mint Ltd. It's Isle of Man. This is the official minter of the Tutankhamun and the Golden Age of the Pharaohs exhibition. Now this is the gold set. They made exactly 999 of these sets. But within this set, there's a 1 ounce gold coin. It's the Tutankhamun. I'm probably saying that wrong. I've heard that pronounced so many ways. We'll call it King Tut. King Tut death mask, 1 ounce. That's awesome. There's a King Tut coffin, 1/2 ounce. All these are proof 69 ultra cameos, mind you. And then this is a 1/5 ounce of gold, King Tut gold throne. 999 exist. And this set walks into my shop in Minot, North Dakota. So I'm scrambling. He has no idea. He bought it a couple years ago, he said. He has no idea what it's worth. Well, it's at least worth gold, right? 1.7 ounces of gold. Well, tried to find comps online, couldn't find any. I couldn't find any that have sold recently. So I paid him a good number he was happy with for this set. So if this is something you've ever seen before, let me know. I'm curious where you saw it. But yeah, 999 in existence for this set. So if you love gold and you love rare stuff, hey, send me a private message. Maybe we can make a deal on this set. But it's a very cool piece, and it's a nice showpiece for the display case because I can set this pyramid out. It's like, wow, what is that? What's in that gold pyramid? And then, oh, do I got something to show you? So, but yeah, very cool piece. Came in the shop as part of that large estate. And I should note that about 1/5 of that large estate was scrap metal, mostly scrap sterling silver, old silverware sets and teapots and platters and things like that. So, but there was a lot of nice collectible coins too. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people that are selling. In fact, today, I bet you I bought from 10 different people probably today, which is probably a little more than average, but it was anything from jewelry to 90% silver to bullion. Gosh, what else did we buy? Wheat pennies. We bought oddball tokens and medallions, all sorts of different things. So, but anyway, I'll let you all go. I don't want to keep you on here too much longer. I tend to ramble, but we talked about a lot of things today, both politically, economically, and how I feel that's going to impact precious metals moving forward. I can almost guarantee, I won't say I guarantee because nobody should ever guarantee anything, but I feel stronger than ever that metals are going to be extremely, extremely volatile in the coming months. So keep that in mind when you're buying. If you see dips and you're ready to buy, I encourage you to get in because I think there's going to be spikes up, there's going to be some dips down, and with those dips, that just means that's a great opportunity. So for what it's worth, appreciate you all tuning in. You all have a great day.